So, here's a fun hypothetical. Imagine the difference between a men's rights government and a feminist government. So imagine you have one government that is purely men's rights activist. The president is a men's rights activist, Congress are all men's rights activists, and the Supreme Court are all men's rights activists. And then a feminist government, where the same thing. The president, Supreme Court, Congress, they're all feminists. Which country do you think would be more equal? Which country do you think you would see greater gender equality? In my opinion, based on the things that feminists and MRAs say and do, the answer is very obvious. The MRA government would be the more equal and fair country to live in. Let's just look at some things that MRAs and feminists have said to support my argument here. So, feminists have advocated for laws that would discriminate against male victims of domestic violence, and they've supported and advocated for gendered domestic violence laws that would, in effect, mitigate male victims of domestic violence and make it more difficult for them to get assistance. Feminists have opposed equal pension ages in many countries, supporting women having a lower pension age than men. Feminists in India fought against the inclusion of male rape victims under law, thus making rape laws gendered and unequal. Feminists have ignored issues such as circumcision, such as boys' education gap, such as conscription in some countries, and in fact in some countries feminists have actually protested against equal conscription. Now I will give the National Organization for Women credit. In the United States, they did join with the NCFN, the National Coalition for Men, in suing Congress over selective service. But in most countries, this is not the case. So when you look at what do feminists do for men, when it comes to the law, and when it comes to social programs, when you have specific instances of inequality against men and boys, what do you see feminist organizations actually say and do? Yes, they say that they're trying to break down the patriarchy and stop harmful gender roles, but that's an easy thing just to say and doesn't actually mean anything. When you look at their actual words of consequence when it comes to lobbying for laws, it's the complete opposite of that. Feminists advocate for laws and practices that discriminate against men and favor women. Feminists even want separate justice systems for men and women, such as in the UK, where they want to close women's prisons, and they want to exempt women from crimes, even serious crimes in some cases. Now, compare that to MRAs. Let's look at some things that MRAs say that would be discriminatory against women. You can't find any. Unless you're talking about these red pill types like Andrew Tate, you can't find any men's rights organization or any MRA supporting a law that discriminates against women. Now, the main criticism people will have to this is all of these MAGTOW red pill types like Andrew Tate who are misogynistic. But if you listen to these people like Andrew Tate, they're not men's rights activists, and they don't call themselves men's rights activists, and most importantly, they dislike men's rights activists. This is something that people don't understand. The media has lumped the manosphere into this one big ball. It's not, at all. The reality is, if you go to any mainstream MRA organization, such as the National Coalition for Men, or even if you browse the men's rights subreddit, which is problematic, I will admit, you won't see MRAs support discrimination against women in the sense that you won't see MRAs say that a law or a social program or a government welfare program should deprioritize women or prioritize men. And in this sense, I feel an MRA government would treat men and women equally, whereas a feminist government would not.